Hi, my name is Derek Sheridan. I'm the owner of Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network, LLC, or commonly referred to as RBCN. We had a question from one of our subscribers regarding blocker mover offense. Myself and Ryan Ripke, who's on our RBCN staff, both spent a lot of years during our careers utilizing the blocker mover offense. I learned blocker mover from Coach Dick Bennett, spending a lot of time studying Coach Knight at IU, spending a lot of time studying Tony Bennett, Brooks Miller when he was at Trine University, national championship coach, Pat Knight at Marianne University in Indianapolis, Indiana, and there's a lot of people I'm forgetting. Eric Thompson at Huntington North High School in Indiana. So this is something I have a real passion for, is blocker mover offense. I think it's a great offense for high school kids. It gives your players who are skilled offensively room to operate. The ball is going to the right people, and it gives your big football kids, or maybe kids who are a little bit bigger but aren't as skilled, specific clear-cut rules on how they can get, one, play a lot, and two, screen, teach them the rules, screen, offensive rebound, screen, offensive rebound, screen, re-screen. And the players we had over the years, by and large, really liked this offense. We switched from running Pete Carrill's Princeton offense way back before it was in vogue for high school coaches to utilize Princeton. We had gotten to Jerry O'Brien, who spent a lot of time with Coach Carrill. He helped us. We had amassed a gazillion Princeton VHS tapes from recording them off ESPN and whatnot. And that's how we learned it. But back to blocker mover. The shooting drills we did, and the question was, get a little ahead of myself, what were your best shooting drills for blocker mover? And for those people who do follow Rust Belt basketball, they know that I'm a huge advocate of taking a lot of things and compiling it into one as a measure to save time. So we took teaching reading screens. We took teaching how to screen, these fundamental aspects, and utilized them within our shooting drills. So to start off, we started off, and a lot of these things I'm showing you are during year one. You just got hired and you've got, let's say, 10 days to work with your kids in the summer. These are the things we started doing to build our blocker mover offense. We utilized all the baskets. I would have my assistant coaches working with bigger kids. But again, this is shooting drills. We're going to start with shooting drills for the guards. And this is 1 versus 0 shape ups. And a shape up in the blocker mover, in our blocker mover vernacular, means you are the cutter and you are misdirecting your chaser, the person guarding you. So the coach can start anywhere he wants above the foul line extended. And 2 is just going to work like mad. If coach dribbles this way, he's got to get outside. He's got to get outside of the lane line. He's got to plant, and he's got to turn and burn and round that cutoff to the ball. We hit him. He throws it right back to the coach, and he's got to shape up hard, and he's going to the other side. Coach is taking the ball to the action, and what we called those cuts rounders. You're rounding your cut to the ball. Cutting up off the baseline, rounding those cuts off to the ball. And you want to talk about seeing some kids gassed in the summer, you're going to see it when they do these things. Now we've got 2 versus 1 shape up. And we cut the court in half here. So now we're going to utilize a defensive player on the cutter. No defense on the screener yet. 2 has got to misdirect. I mean, he's got to misdirect X2, his chaser, as hard as possible. And now what we're teaching, we're still working on rounder cuts. We're teaching 2 how to shape up. We're continuing that progression of shaping up. And we're teaching 5 and 2 how to offensive chatter effectively. And we're teaching them how to screen and cut together. And the way we taught this was as 2 misdirects, he has to slow down at the screen. 5 has got both hands up before he covers his boys up so he doesn't get plastered. 2 is going to take his outside shoulder and bury it into 5's inside hip. And we call that shoulder to hip. Shoulder to hip. Shoulder to hip is far superior than shoulder to shoulder. Shoulder to hip compresses the cutter's physique. It compresses him, gets him in an athletic position to where if he curls, or even if he rounds it and catches it, he's already in a shot-ready position. By getting shoulder to hip, you're also making it harder for 5 to set an illegal screen, because illegal screens take place primarily when the cutter doesn't make contact with the screener's hip. So here comes the screener, shoulder to hip, and now we grab and pull. X2, with his inside hand, is going to grab 5's bottoms, his shorts. And that forms one more barrier that doesn't allow the defense to get through that if the defense is trying to blow the screen up. Now, you've got 2 men in a row right here. As soon as 2 crosses 5, 5 is in and up. In meaning he's going to take his baseline side foot and he is going to slam it across X5 and demand positioning under the rim, or as close to under the rim as he can get. And coach in this drill, if he throws it here, 5's taking the shot, and 2 has got to sprint to the timeline, touch it, and come back, and that replicates getting back in conversion defense. If coach throws it here, 2 is going to shoot it, and 5, even though he doesn't have a defensive player on him, he is going to bowl his way across this lane line and go down and up and turn his keister to the ball or to the timeline, and that puts him in offensive rebounding position. So if 2 misses it and it's a soft miss, 5 can get that and put it back in. So after one teaching day, and this is contingent on how well the kids are picking this stuff up, then we would progress to keeping score. It'd be basket versus basket. If 2 makes the shot, it's 2 points. 1 makes the shot, it's 1 point. Now here's the deal. If 5 misses the shot and he's below the volleyball line extended, both they're both a team. They go back to 0, because we didn't want those, what we called 0-footers being missed. 3 versus 1 shape up. 3 offense, 1 defense. The same thing. The coach, he's going to dribble the thing to whatever your trigger line is. And when he's about 1 foot outside of that trigger line, 4 is on the move. I mean, he's moving. He is shaping up. And now you've got another guy to offensive chatter with. 2 is taking X2 at 4, and 4 is screaming like bloody murder. Come on, Jimmy. Come on, I got you. And he might hesitate and go off of 4. He might also plant and come back off of 5, and you've got your same principles. But now, with another player on the floor to rebound, another screener, if the ball goes here or here, 4 is getting into rebounding position. And after a day of this, or 20 minutes of it, whatever, again, contingent to how well your kids pick this up, you can keep score. Basket versus basket. And what you'll see that starts to develop is the screeners start to take a lot of pride in getting their player open, because the next phase in this is we call post feed opt. Same thing, 3 versus 1. But now, when the ball goes here, 5's burying his man and posting up. 4, following our blocker mover rules, gets high and wide, because we don't want X4 down there jamming up the lane or jamming up the midline. And so now we're working on post feeds. We might have started that day's workout with coach passing and just our 5 and 4s on the blocks, working on post moves. So now that we've added that in, you've got one more element, feeding the post. I should say one more element into your blocker mover offense. 3 versus 3. And this is where it gets really fun. You still got a coach up top, but now you're going to play the same game in a 3 versus 3 format. And the screeners now have defense on them. So what does that mean for your teaching? Let's say 2's shaped up and he's coming off a 5. Everything's the same. And we're not allowing them to switch yet. But now 5 has to read how X5 reacted to the screen and to the cut. Did he jump out and try to hard hedge it to disrupt the cut? Did he come over here and try and knock him out? Did he zone up? You know, a lot of teams zone up now to take the slip away. So what we're going to teach 5 now is versus the hard hedge, you're going to nail him and position yourself for a lob pass. Versus the zone up, you're going to sit and get. That means you're going to go in here and sit on him, get the ball, sit and get. And those are 2 effective ways to teach your screeners how to react to what their defensive players do when there's a cutting and screening scenario. We'll do the same things now with stagger screens. And again, we're going to have to we'll begin just using one side of the floor. And now we're going to throw a guard in here because we didn't want our post players. We wanted a guard, not just post players in the stagger. We wanted our biggest player to be the tailpipe of the stagger. And sometimes that alleviates switching. And you want this action, you always want your staggers taking place on the last third of the floor. If they're too close to the midline, it's hard for the ball handler to see who's open. So move those staggers out, get them maybe a little bit more vertical. And now we're going to work on, and we're going to have a defense starting off on 2. There's your shape up, first screen, second screen, and just work on the screening mechanics of a stagger. After 5 screens, if X5 hard hedges it, he's gone, he's slipping it. 3 can cut vertically. He can cut across the lane. We didn't really put many restrictions on him. We just wanted him to flash to the ball or flash to the opening if his man hedged, get out of there, or cut vertically. You can do the same thing, and we did the same thing with wall screens, 5 and 3. Triangle shooting, we ran a lot of triangle blocker mover. Coach, or tired players or whoever, but you're going to position players or people in these 3 spots, and you're going to put kids in the triangle. We start off with no defense. And the ball or the drill started on a pass. And now, again, here comes offensive chatter. 5 is ball side. So he's going to be the catalyst here. He can choose to screen up for 2. And then rescreen for 4. The options are innumerable. It's all about offensive chatter. And we let those 3 players play in the triangle. And the coaches, after a couple reversals, would throw the ball to a player. The player who caught it shoots it. The other 2 players have to react accordingly. One will go offensive rebound, and the other one, contingent on where he's located, will either get back to the timeline and touch it to show conversion defense, or he might go offensive rebounding contingent on where he's at. This is a huge one. Pass and cut. We would just call out pass and cut. Your shooter has the ball. We start off with no defense to teach this. Pass. And now here comes your offensive chatter. You might get 4 might be screaming flare. 5 might be screaming back screen. Again, the options are innumerable. If coach throws a skip pass, and this is something we didn't necessarily tell the cutter, but we were going to make him work. So let's say you want off a back screen. And there's your skip pass. 5 and 4 are screaming bloody murder for him. Or, again, contingent on what 5 and 4 says. And all this gets better with time. 5, 4, 1. The options are innumerable, and that's just simply pass and cut shooting. If one catches it, and he's gassed, and he decides to pass it, and this is where the kids really learn to play together. One cuts in here, coach might swing it again. You get this action, you might cut vertically. Again, the options are innumerable. So that was one of our kids' favorites, the pass and cut. The 1 second drill, and I got this from Coach Knight when he was at IU. Again, we would start off with no defense just so the kids would learn the flow of the drill. And then we'd put a defense initially on our cutter. And in this drill, you want the same sort of principles with 5 and 4 with the offensive chatter. Coach has the ball. And 2 has to shoot the ball within 1 second of catching it. No dribbles to start. As you get better, then you would allow the 2-man to shot fake. No more than 1 dribble, then you could add 2 dribbles, then you can add the post feeds, especially as you start to apply defense to players on 4 and 5. But coach is watching 2. 2 shapes up hard and comes off a 4. He's got to catch and shoot within 1 second of catching the ball. And then 5 and 4 go get the ball and put it back in if he misses it. And that's a very tough drill, very tough. Again, we would apply this is how we taught all of our types of screens, our vertical cuts, our fade cuts, our curl cuts, our CTS cuts, our getaway cuts, all of those cuts, these drills are how we taught it. Last one, the weak side stretch drill. And this is a progression drill. So we're going to enter the ball to a wing. And in our blocker mover system, we had a rule: whenever a player caught the ball on the wing or in the corner, their line of sight had to be down at the post, opposite for a skip or a horizontal stretch. We wanted to stretch the court horizontally and vertically. Down, opposite, same. Down, opposite, same. So as coach throws the ball to 1, 5's sealing his man to post up. 4 circles away, and he's make-believing he's positioning his body in between 2 and X2. And against a well-coached man-to-man team, X2 is going to be somewhere near the midline. So 1 gets it, he looks down, and in this, we call this the stretch drill because we're stretching the ball horizontally. We're stretching the court horizontally, skipping it, roll down, post up, circle away, and we repeat this process back and forth until the coach at the basket allows the players to shoot or drive the thing baseline. And that's how we start teaching how we baseline drift, or what we call fisting up. And it's no different than anybody else's in America. If 2 caught the skip and we're teaching the fist up, on that baseline drive, 4 circles behind, 5 cuts to the middle, and 1 sinks to the corner. 2's looking to lay it in. If he can't lay it in, he jumps. Or if he passes it here, or he can jump stop if he gets cut off, reverse pivot, and pitch it back out to the 4-man for either a 3-point shot or a return pass if he decides to post up. And that's, again, how we taught our baseline drifting, what we called fisting up. And we would eventually put defense in there and make that a competitive game. I think one of the most competitive games you can play, especially if you're teaching a motion-based offense where there's a lot of off-the-ball screening and cutting, and that is cutthroat. You can play it 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. Let's say we've worked on backdoor cuts all day. So our main backdoor cut drill against teams who really overplayed, 2 comes off of here. Backdoor it. and we worked on that pass a lot and hard cutting, whatnot. So let's say that your special rule for today's version of cutthroat is backdoor cutting. That means because you played a 21, anytime your team scores off the special rule, they get triple points. So they would get 2, 4, 6 right there. Any other scores are just 2s and 1s. Even a 3-point shot's 2. Inside the 3-point arc field goal is worth 1. And that drill gets super competitive. And if you turn the ball over, you just lost half your points. The other team picks up, the defense picks up that the special rule for this team is backdoor cutting. So X2 doesn't overplay. He just kind of comes out and lets him catch it and closes out. He rolls down, nails the man. Fine, we'll throw it to the post. Maybe 4 circles away, flare screens for 1, and he cuts to the ball. 4 catches it and rip drives. So again, they don't have to score from the special play, but once a team gets a lead, now the penalty for losing is intense. The kids do not want to go through that because it's rotten. If you lose in this drill, you're going to run your nose off. So it's pretty interesting to see that when the team gets down by 2, 4, 6 points, now those kids get out after it, and that's when you're going to get your back doors, just like in a game. So those are my favorite shooting drills for the blocker mover offense. If you have any questions, shoot an email to me at Derek, DEREK, at MyRustBeltBasketball.